From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, time once again for The Horse's Mouth, brought to you by Synovus Bank. Back at the bar, my good friends, The Hammer, back in action. Sammy Kouvaris and Lonnie Marts. What's up, fellas? How are you, Lon?
All good.
Good to see you, man.
Tommy?
You know, Sammy, great to see you. I see Lonnie out in the foyer there, and I'm like, Lon, hey, what, you been lifting? He's like, no. Wouldn't you like to be naturally just jacked? Wouldn't that be nice? You didn't have to go work at it?
Think about the day he showed up in the locker room.
Oh,
right?
I know. I remember.
He walked through the locker room and I went, I don't want that guy to hit me.
No doubt.
Wow.
Lonnie also had back in the day that little, he had that little
helmet
vein
thing
or something that came down. And you're like, okay, this guy,
right.
he's been hit in the face before. He's tough one.
He doesn't want
A couple
That's
times.
not gonna. That ain't gonna matter.
Good.
So how you been, Sammy? How you been?
I've been good.
Yeah.
I've been real good.
Busy?
Yeah. Got my other hip replaced.
Okay.
So when they dig me up 500 years from now, they're going to go,
Out of metal.
what was this guy, a hybrid? I mean, what were they doing?
Think about
was that
that.
like prehistoric?
Think
I mean, that seems medieval.
Terminator's real.
I mean, so so I've been cleared to, and all I told the guy was I want to play golf with my friends and ride my bike.
Good.
So,
And you're doing that?
and I'm doing that. So I'm back.
How about the Bullet? How's the Bullet?
The Bullet is great. There's
Yeah.
not a time I get out of that car that I don't look back and go, I freaking love driving
I pulled up.
that car.
You never see them.
Right.
And it was green. I thought
They're
it was
all
you.
green.
Oh, they are? Oh, no kidding.
They only made it, well, you could buy it in black, but
Okay.
why would you?
Right.
That's the color that Steve McQueen
Yeah,
drove,
right.
And I mean, the story for me is, I had a 68, 289 pony package,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, it was the dream car, 4-speed, and it was so nice it got stolen. And when I saw, of course, I lived in D.C. at the time, shocking.
Right. Yeah, right.
They called me in the morning, 7 o'clock, and the guy said, Mr. Kouvaris, yeah, this is Officer Smith from Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. I said, yes, sir. Did you park your car in the middle of New Hampshire Avenue last night? No, sir. He goes, well, that's where we found it.
Oh, wonderful.
So-
thank you.
But I saw this car at the air show in Oshkosh when I was up there.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I looked at it and I said to the little spokesmodel there,
Yeah.
I said, tell me something about it. And she was very well trained. And she was,
car.
she gave me the whole thing, 480 Coyote, 6-speed, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You're going to want it with the upgraded electronics and the,
Yeah.
and the ride dampening system.
Yeah.
You're going to want
And I said, this memory's older than you, but it's the first car that's turned my head in 40 years because I had a 68 pony package 289 4-speed. And she looked over her shoulder and she said, you're right, mister. I'm only 28, but I can tell you this car's effing hot.
That was enough. That was
Sold.
enough. Yeah. I was talking to our old friend John Wade. He's got a car. Do you remember Johnny Wade? Yeah. He's up in Virginia. He's got a car dealership.
Right.
He's like, man, I got this Jeep. It's got a Hemi in it. I'm like, it's got a Hemi in it?
A Jeep?
He's like, I'm like, man,
Track
your
Hawk.
son? He's like, no, I'm using it for a while.
Wow.
He's like, I'm not ready to let this thing go yet.
Trackhawks.
That's fun. That's fun. A lot going on in the sports world. Baseball. Big
Baseball
problems.
really
Think they'll
is
figure that out, Sammy?
shooting themselves in the foot.
Who do you pick a side, or do you have it?
They're both wrong.
They're both wrong.
You got billionaires being mad at millionaires,
Yeah.
And I mean, and baseball doesn't realize that they have already become a regional sport. We don't care about, most people don't care about watching national games until the playoffs.
Right. Yeah.
So for 162 regular season games, you need to have a team to root for, whether it's the Braves or the Marlins or the Rays or whatever. For me, it's the Orioles.
Yep.
For you, it might be the stinking Red Sox.
Cubs.
Or, the Cubs.
Sticky Cubs, although they won
Cubs.
too long.
But you follow anybody?
No. Not baseball.
Growing up in New
Orleans doesn't
Orleans,
have it.
well, the Zephyrs were there when Lonnie was
like,
there.
oh, wow, we're going to see the Zephyrs. That's great.
But and so from a regional standpoint, they don't understand that they need people to have the rhythm of summer with the rhythm of baseball.
Yeah.
And when you disrupt that by delaying the beginning of the season and talking about things that the average fan does not care about, you are literally shooting yourself in the foot again.
Yeah. When you think of the extra game, they added the extra game this year, an extra playoff team for the NFL, right? I think the owners in baseball are trying to add 2 more playoff
It's ridiculous.
teams.
There's 30 teams that want to have. They want to have 16 teams, 14 teams
best
in the
of
playoffs.
5, isn't it? Or best of 3, then best of 5, and then best of 7. I mean, how many
Right.
more? How many
How about
games?
how many more games can you add?
There,
Well,
I don't mind
depends
what
on how
the
much
NFL
money
did.
you want.
Yeah,
Oh,
true.
yeah, true.
I mean, the NFL is going to go to 18 regular season games, and they're going to cut the preseason down to 2.
Yeah,
awesome.
And they extended, the playoffs into that one more round, and they gave the top team a bye.
And this year was pretty good. From a
competitive standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
But the first weekend, the games were easy to pick.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you had some fairly elite teams playing some teams that kind of snuck in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, look what the Eagles got destroyed by the Bucks, right?
Totally
right away.
Yep.
So, but the rest of it then became very obviously every game was decided by 3 or 4 points.
Yeah.
So,
Big week coming up here locally with TPC. You like it back in March? I know they've been in March a couple years now, right?
Yeah.
I like May better. I don't know.
The problem with
Depends what
May,
the
Tom,
weather
in
is.
Jacksonville is that
Too hot?
it's not too hot, but they have a difficult time getting the golf course the way they want it.
Oh, because it dries out.
Okay, because you start the rainy season. There's a lot of agronomy issues to get the golf course to play the way they want it for what they consider to be a very significant or a major championship. So in March, the guy who's the head of agronomy can control that. They can make it as fast as they want. Particularly now, we didn't have any weird weather leading up to it.
Sam, you're so well-rounded, like agronomy. I haven't heard that word in freaking forever. Like that didn't even come into my mind. Like agronomy.
Really?
Huh? Okay, Sam.
Okay, Sam. You just wiped us off.
I talk horse racing. What kind of grass are they racing on? Horse racing.
He probably knows.
He does know. You know he does.
Bastard.
You know he does. There's no question
Wow.
about that. All right, locally, happy about Doug Peter. I mean, it's too early to say, but what do you think?
I think it's a good choice compared to the last choice.
yeah, let's hope so.
I think it's a good choice.
By the way, the owner thinks that too.
Yeah.
I mean, he admitted to me that
I'm not a billionaire, but
the Meyer thing was a disaster.
I mean,
And it was just
shot.
it was a great sales job. Right?
Yeah.
I don't even know it was a great sales job. I just think it was
by Urban.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Shad liked the name.
Who started 18 months ago before Doug ever
Yeah.
had a bad season. Urban was in Shad's ear. And,
Yeah.
and I wrote a very critical article when they were talking about hiring him. I said, it's about as tone deaf as you can possibly be.
Yep.
Gator fans hate him. Ohio State fans hate him.
Yep.
Urban
liar.
He's a phony.
Yes.
I mean, he's just there's just a lot of things about him that he's a very unappealing character. And that's not what Jacksonville wants to lead a football team.
Definitely not.
Right.
I think when he didn't come back with the team, if that was week 8 or later, I think maybe he gets fired then. Do you think that was big enough?
If they were 1-8 at the time,
of course,
they were 0-4 at the time.
Yeah, right. Gosh,
and when you're making $8 million a year, don't you fly back with the team, walk across the ramp, get in your G3, and fly back?
pretty much. I mean, if that's what you want
she'll
to do,
wait.
go.
She'll be there.
Or
She ain't going anywhere.
Or go work. Oh yeah, fly her down while you're working. I don't know. Hide her in the stadium.
I mean, come on. And I
sit with the boys.
I don't know. Did we talk about that? I mean, I don't know that we talked about that.
It's so bad.
You know what that proved? I'll tell you what that proved.
What?
He has no friends.
Yeah, no,
All right?
you're right.
If we're out and we're in the bar, and I lived a very public life for 40 years.
Of course,
right?
Yeah.
If we're in the bar and this girl is saddling up to me, and it looks like that,
Go, Sammy.
you walk over and you go. You say to her, you say to her, get out of here. And you look at me and you go, what are you, stupid?
Yeah, what are you, dummy?
And I go, no, I'm drunk.
Right.
Which is exactly what he should have said because he was.
Yeah.
You could see it.
Yeah.
And if he had said that, maybe at least we would have kind of understood.
He tried to work her. He's like, no, I didn't. She was trying to give me a dance. And then the next video comes out. I don't think so.
He didn't have, and he could be one of those types that, which sounds like, leave me alone. I'm going to do what I want to do.
That's fine.
And so
all I know,
he might not
all I
take
know
your
is when
advice.
my wife saw that video, you know what she said to me? She goes, he knows her.
Oh, without a doubt. My wife said the same thing.
Right?
Totally.
I said, what?
Yeah.
He goes,
without
she goes,
question.
there's way too much familiarity there.
Totally.
They know each other.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it came out later
that she worked for him at the restaurant or whatever. Yeah, those women, they do have some intuition.
Oh, geez.
They got
She saw it, like, come out of nowhere.
She said that. It was like,
don't mess around.
I just tried to keep my head down.
That's right. That's right.
Look off to this.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you know what? Thank goodness we're moving on from Urban Meyer.
No, but Peterson, what I like about Peterson is, Shad tried to hire him before he talked to Urban in 21.
Yeah.
And Doug just said to him, look, I need a year off.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he did need that year off. He reconnected with his family, with his wife. His brother died. His son got married. A lot of things happened in that year. And when Shad called him December 30th, Doug was ready, and basically they agreed that he was going to hire him.
Yep.
But Shad said, I need to go through the process, which he did. Talked to minority candidates, talked to some other people. But the thing that Shad told me, which I haven't heard him say, hinted at it a little bit, is that one of the things he wanted to do through the process was investigate how other organizations are built. And he, in the end, thought that the Jaguars were too flat in the personnel department. Now, they haven't put any so-called depth in there yet. Okay. But don't be surprised if they don't hire a couple of assistant GMs or some different people in there to give that more depth. And when you've got a guy like Peterson, who's willing to, who has a say in personnel with Balky, and the whole Balky thing where people hate Balky supposedly, it comes from Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, Harbaugh and he
did not like each other.
They really dislike each other. So, and Harbaugh has a big voice, certainly among the media. So, it's just I think Peterson's the right guy. He's a quarterback. The offensive coordinator's a quarterback. The quarterback's coach is a quarterback. The passing game coordinator. No doubt. They're all quarterbacks, right?
Now, they played the game. To figure out which one to listen to.
And
they better all be on the same exact.
Well, it was very obvious when you would talk to Bevel at the end of the year. Yeah. When Meyer was gone, that he and Schottenheimer had an idea for Trevor all year long, and Urban was telling them, we're not doing that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Because you think of those last 4 games, Lawrence was a very different kind of quarterback because they were putting him in situations where he could be successful. And Urban wanted him to turn him into a standard drop back.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, he threw 51 times his first game. Like, that said a lot. All right, timeout. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll be right back talking with the huddle, or talking with the hammer here with Sammy Kouvaris in the huddle with Sammy Kouvaris and Lonnie Marts at the bar at Tommy Mac's, and brought to you by Synovus Bank. We'll be right back.
This is a Clydesdale. Despite what you see in the commercials, he doesn't play football. He won't bring me a cold one, as much as I wish he would. He does not fall easily in love with his kitty cat pals, of which he has none. He's just really good at being a horse on this ranch. I run with help from my banker at Synovus, Bank of Here. Really, Bruce?
From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, welcome back to The Horse's Mouth here at Tommy Mac's, brought to you by Synovus Bank. It's hammer time right here with my friends Sammy Kouvaris and Lonnie Marts. Great to be back at the bar. Lonnie, what's going on with Level the Playing Field, man? What's the latest and everything that you got going on?
Programming, getting boys out and letting them, feel the air in their hair.
Nice.
So to speak. So we're getting them into the community, community service, and we also make sure that they get out and have a little fun. Took them to Mosh, had them go to Sweet Pete's, and took them to grab something to eat. So they've been having a good time.
That's great. How many? I
have 9 right now. I'm still working to get 6, looking for mentors. So it's all
That's
good.
Great. I had the Iceman here last week. Take them to an Iceman game. That's fun.
That'll be Sunday. This Sunday.
You're going. Sweet.
Sunday,
that's fantastic. No doubt. I haven't been to a hockey game yet, but every time I go one a year. It's incredible. It's
great.
Fun. And they're playing really well.
But Lonnie, you found that you have to develop the whole boy. They are boys still. The whole boy, right? It's not just we're making them better football players. We're making them better students. We're trying to make them culturally aware of what their lives can be.
Each one of our boys, right now I'm working at getting them to understand that, sports is one thing and life without sports is another thing. And many people aren't prepared for that. Right. So I try to teach them education, life skills. We talk about mental and social, emotional wellness. I mean, taking care of yourself, being healthy.
Yep.
You know, a lot of these boys, well, all of them are coming from single parent homes. I tell them, hey, your mom, you and your mom are a team.
Yep.
And you can't, just like you playing ball, you don't hurt the team.
Not just single parents, only with moms.
With moms.
Right. No, it's nobody's living with their dad, right? I mean, it's they're living with their moms.
They're with their moms. Yeah. It's team effort. So, you know, they gotta behavior, right?
Yep.
That's the main thing. Behavior will keep you out of some of the opportunities that will will await you down the road, but they can't.
Yep.
Wish you had told me that
back when
I was
You know what?
13.
It's funny. I drive my youngest to La Villa, you know, school, the Archies in the dance program from the beach. Everyone, we were talking literally this morning about her generation and her sisters as well. And I think they're going to bring back the couth and the manners and how to be. Yeah, just everyone.
Is that right?
I do.
How old is she?
13. She'll be 14 in the fall. But I do. I think they see that, you know, look, it's not. It's people are judged by how they are to you, how they act, you know, what their character is. I think they really, I don't know, because you know, what drives me nuts today in society. I can't stand when people don't say please and thank you.
Right.
I can't stand when they don't say thank you, even as simple as. And I'm not a road rager. I'm very calm on the road. All right, other than my music blasting and I'm hauling ass. I let people in all the time.
Yeah,
I get one wave out of 4.
Yeah.
You're like, wait a minute, I'm not.
I wave to everybody.
I wave to everybody.
Yeah.
You hold the door open for me, I say thank you. I mean, but I think that younger generations are going to bring it back as long as we continue to, you know, harp on them, you know, because they need it. They need it. You're doing great work, man. Keep up the great work. Sammy, you did great work getting Baselli into the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Way to go, man. Way to go. As the
you know, as I've said many times, he did the work, I did the research. You know, but I did have a couple guys on the committee, you know, after it happened, say to me, you know, without you, he doesn't get in. So I thought that was very nice of them to say.
Yeah, no
and it was
doubt.
only because of, you know, that nobody ever said he wasn't good enough. It was all about numbers.
Longevity.
You know.
Yeah.
And Tony played 97 games, but once we let Terrell Davis and Kenny Easley in, that kind of changed the rules. But there still are some guys who don't believe that. And the other thing that I realized going into this year for the presentation for the 6th consecutive year is that half of the committee had never seen him play. I mean,
really? That's not good.
Think about that. I mean, Tony's career ended in 2001. That was 21 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Right. So a lot of these people were in, you know, elementary school. When he was playing, you know, they were in middle school.
Yep.
So,
do they watch film?
No, how can they judge?
Well,
they're supposed to.
They're supposed to, but. So what I did with Dan Edwards, who just retired, you know, who also I think Dan had a lot to do with that too, because he was he helped them put together a tape of Baselli and people talking about Tony. And you know, you talk to teammates, you know, teammates are going to say everybody belongs in the Hall of Fame, right? But when you talk to Bruce Smith, like I did, and Mike McCrary, like I did, and John Randall, you know, and then you talk to Willie Rofe, and he goes, I used to check my game against him, even though he was in the other conference. And I called Walter Jones. Walter Jones goes, I don't know, Sam. Because I knew him from Florida State. He goes, I wore 71 because Baselli wore 71. So he said, do I have to say anything else? I said, actually, no, right? So, I mean, Tony, when you really look at tape of his career and you talk to people, I mean, he was, and I told Tony this too, and Schott invited me to the party in California, which was fun.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And I wasn't going to go, and I woke up the next morning and my wife looked over at me and she went,
we're going.
I think you should go. And I was like, really? And she said, she said, it's too important to miss. So a lot of his teammates from Southern Cal were there.
Cool.
And I told Tony, I said, you know, 6 years in a row, you have to make this presentation. And I said, but every person I talk to, probably, if I don't know more about Baselli's career than he does, I know about the same. Because Tony's also a very smart guy, too. And I said, there's not a single person I talk to of the 100 or 200 people maybe I talked to, from opponents to teammates to other offensive linemen to coaches of that era, who didn't say one of two things. He was the best of the era, and many of them said he's the best of all time.
Yep.
And I said that was enough to motivate me to continue to try to get this done.
Yeah.
Because when you have people talking about you in those terms, that you deserve some serious consideration.
So let me, so you get these quotes from players. Best
Call
players.
them up. Talk to them.
Right.
Yeah.
So isn't that enough for doesn't that, how much does weight, that's like, to me, wouldn't you think that'd be a lot of weight if Walter Jones says, man, I wore 71 because of Baselli.
Right.
Munoz says, hey, he's the best that ever played. And everyone
Bruce Smith said, he gave me all. He was the best I played against. He gave me all I could handle.
How is that not enough?
After chasing Bruce Smith for 5 years, by the way.
No, right, yeah.
He wouldn't talk to us, and then he's the one who presents Baselli at the NFL Honors, which was awesome.
That was pretty cool.
By the way. Which, by the way, Shad got me a ticket to that NFL Honors.
Yeah.
It must have been his ticket.
Yeah.
I sat 2 rows behind Goodell.
Oh, cool.
I was like, I'm looking for my seat, and I felt like Bob Uecker.
Yeah.
Must be in the front row.
Were they bringing you drinks, or did you have to get up and go get them?
I had to go get them.
Service.
Service. Hey, service. Get over here, man.
But when you get down to it, it was a numbers game, not just the number of people, number of games, but then also he happened to play in what I call the golden age of tackles as well.
Sure.
So, Ogden and Rofe,
Pace,
Orlando Pace, Gary Zimmerman, Tony Baselli. I mean, all these guys played in the same era. There's only 30 tackles in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
We put 6 of them in the last 8 years.
Yeah, right.
Because of that.
Yep.
And I can give you a bunch of numbers. 23% of all tackles in the Hall played fewer games than Baselli.
Right.
19% of all players, the 300 players in the Hall, played either less or less than 1 full season more than Tony. Jimbo Covert, who good player, obviously Hall of Famer now, was put in the 2020 class.
Yeah.
I don't think he was as good as Tony.
Right.
But it's a very similar career. Played 111 games.
Wow.
So, I mean, we're not talking about, that he played 200 games.
Yeah, right. It was like 10 more games.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, I think going forward, you saw that Ali, what's his name, the guard from Tampa Bay just retired after 7 years. Marpet, right? Ali Marpet. Yep. Luke Kuechly, retired after 7 years. Yep. Patrick Willis, who was a finalist this year, played 8 years. Retired. I mean, with the amount of money in the game and what they know about CTE and how it can break your body down and so forth, I think you're going to see more shorter careers. But, when you get down to it, in the last 5 years, half of the people we put in the Hall were first ballot eligible guys.
Wow.
Which has never happened in that span before.
Hey,
so
congrats to Leroy Butler.
Absolutely.
Too. So cool.
And so this year, I felt like this year, if Leroy and Tony didn't get in, I didn't think they were ever, even though they were in their 16th year and they had 4 more, I didn't think they'd ever get in because that just meant that there were 10 people on the committee who just weren't letting them in.
All right, let's wrap it up with this. Who's next for Hall of Fame? Is it Freddie, Jimmy, or maybe Tom Coughlin? Who do you think's going to be the next one to get in that was with the Jaguars?
Probably TC.
I think TC's got a great shot.
Yeah.
If you look at if you break down Coughlin's career, it's very similar to Parcells.
Yeah.
Right.
And obviously won 2 Super Bowls and took the Jaguars to 2 AFC Championship games. And I mean, there were just a lot of things about Coughlin, and the fact that he coached in New York, I think, will really help him.
Yeah.
Tom will get in.
Yeah.
The next person they may consider could be Fred Taylor. And if you really break it down, I'd take Fred Taylor over Edgerrin James every day.
Yeah.
But he didn't play with Peyton Manning.
Nope.
They didn't win a Super Bowl. And he had the bad fortune of, 1 year, Adrian Foster had a great year. Every year it seemed like 1 year Priest Holmes had a great year. In that era. And those guys were like 1 year and done. Fred was consistent, but he only made 1 Pro Bowl.
No, I know. Well, I think part of that too. I don't know why they ever take him out on goal line. I love Stacey Mack. He was a beast, but Fred could get
Took
in
him
there
out on
just
goal
as
line,
easy.
and at the end of his career, replaced him with Maurice Jones-Drew for absolutely no reason. Again, I mean, these are kind of the decisions that the Jaguars have made in the history of their franchise.
No doubt.
That make no sense.
All right. Well, it's great to be back together. We're going to do it again. A lot going on with the Jags. We've got free agency. We've got the draft. I think overall, Doug Peterson gives me a little calming influence. Like it's stable. I think he's going to do the right thing. I think he's going to do it the right way, and then we'll see if he can put together.
The guy did win a Super Bowl,
right? Yeah. And went back. People forget or they don't talk about it. Not only did he win a Super Bowl, next 2 years they went to the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
He's a real coach. He's a real guy. He could sit here. He could sit here with us. He's a real guy.
Absolutely.
He's not. He's not a phony at all.
Lonnie.
All right. Before free agency and the draft, what's the over/under on Jaguar victories? I'm
going to say 6.
Victory? I would go 8 and what? It's not 8 and 8 anymore. It's about 8 and I'll go 9. I would definitely give them 8 because Peterson.
They better win more than 4.
Well, I mean, Peterson is going to give you balance and stability. I think he'll come in.
All right.
And in the clutch,
first year, if he don't win more than 4, I'm not.
Let me tell you what. If they win 8 games this year, we're going to have a freaking parade.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. I think he can level it out that way because I'm like,
I'd love it.
Yeah.
I said to Shad the other day.
Have done it. They flipped the switch and we're flipped the side.
I said to Shad the other day because I said outside of 2017, you've never seen this town the way it can be when you guys win.
That's right.
Because when you guys win, the town,
just
there's so many other choices here.
Totally.
The Jaguars rise right to the top.
Right. No doubt.
People talk about them. They go to games.
Yep.
I mean, it's all about, I said, if you ever get there, Shad, you'll be amazed. Because, he's not 100% sold on kind of the psyche of Jacksonville, North Florida. And I said, wait till you guys, I said, part of it is the fact that you haven't won yet.
Yeah, that's right. Wait till you win. Right. Like that match, baby. Oof. All right, that'll do it for us this time around. On the horse's mouth here at Tommy Mac's back at the bar. Always great to be here. Brought to you by Synovus Bank. We'll see you next time right here on the horse's mouth. Stay safe and be cool. And cheers to all y'all out there.
This is a Clydesdale. Despite what you see in the commercials, he doesn't play football. He won't bring me a cold one, as much as I wish he would. He does not fall easily in love with his kitty cat pals, of which he has none. He's just really good at being a horse on this ranch. I run with help from my banker at Synovus, the bank of here.
Really, Bruce?